On March 25th, the Chicago Bulls acquired Nikola Vucevic from the Orlando Magic.
The Bulls gave away Otto Porter, Wendell Carter Jr., and 2 first-round picks to acquire him.
And it's been a waste. Or has it? Welcome to HooperMix TV, where we talk everything hoops. My name is Eli.
And my name is Pat. So far, it's looking like the Bulls/Magic trade has been one-sided, and it appears that the Magic ran away with a straight robbery of a trade.
With Chicago being 7-13 since the deadline, it certainly does seem like this was a bad trade. However, let's not jump to conclusions.
After a few games now, was this trade a good move by the Bulls? That's the question we want to answer today. You all ready? Let's get started.
If you know us by now, you know that we are pretty analytical. We don't make assumptions based on stories, but based on facts.
So before we get to the answer, let's dig deep into the numbers and look at the stats.
We can start off by looking at Vucevic's stats before the trade and after.
Before March 25th, he played in 44 games with the Magic, averaging 24.5 points a game, grabbing 11.8 rebounds on these shooting stats.
He was clearly the main focus of their offense, and this was a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because Vucevic is good at what he does.
But that's really it. He doesn't beat any other big man in any other category. Jokic and Embiid are better scorers. Jokic is also a better passer.
Gobert is a better defender, rebounder, while Cat is a better shooter. If you asked us, Vucevic is tied for the 5th best big man with Bam in the league, depending on what you prioritize more.
As of 19 games with the Bulls, he is averaging less points and rebounds at 22.5 and 10.6.
This sounds like we're bashing him, but that's the reality of it. The stats don't lie. However, look at his shooting stats. In every field goal percentage, it has increased, and he has become more proficient.
He shoots 70% from within 3 meters, around 50% from mid-range, and about 45% from 3. Those are some deadly percentages. The main reason for this is less of a burden on offense and having a new co-partner.
Let's talk about that guy for a sec, Zach LaVine. Since the arrival of Nikola Vucevic, he has averaged 25.1 points, which is about 2 points from a season average of 27.5.
These two stars scoring less makes sense. Obviously, when there's another scorer on the team, you're gonna get less chances to score.
Those are the stats for the 2 cornerstones of the franchise. So let's look at the Bulls after this trade. Like we said earlier, they are 7-13 since then, but the results don't tell the full story.
Before the trade, they lost 24 times with a point difference of 13.3 with some really bad losses. Now, with Vucevic on the mix, out of those 13 losses, the average point difference is now down to 9.8 points per loss.
But that's not it. They went from less than top 20 in both offense and defense to now 17th in those two sides. Now, add the previous field goal percentages.
Before, they were 47.9%, but now they're at 49.1%. That looks like a minuscule difference, but it just shows how well they have improved.
The losses might paint one picture, but the stats show the truth, and even though they're still losing, a lot of improvements have been made. This will eventually even out by the end of the season, but there are some assumptions we can make with these findings.
Number 1. They are a better team, offensively and defensively. Even though the Bulls lost Wendell Carter Jr., Vucevic statistically does everything the same with less blocks and steals.
But Vucevic is a better offensive player. He stretches out the floor and can knock down shots that Carter can only dream of hitting.
And don't forget his passing and his craftiness in the paint. He has a lot of good moves, and his strength in the post is not talked about enough.
Number 2, we can also assume that the improvements are to be made. Next year, I can see LaVine going back to 27 points a game, and possibly even score more while being more efficient. And the same can be said with Vucevic.
That level up is really required from the both of them if they want this team to excel. Similar to what Donovan Mitchell and Gobert went through with the Jazz this year.
Being complacent and just good is not going to win games, and their 7-13 record clearly shows that.
But with that being said, number 3, and last but not the least, the future is bright for this team. They haven't had a playoff berth or even hit 500 since the 16-17 season.
Remember that Butler, Wade, Rondo team? Yeah, that long ago.
The goal for the Bulls this year should just be make it to the play-in tournament and hit the playoffs. If that does not work out, that's okay.
Something we did not mention earlier is that the Bulls have LaVine till next year and Vooch for 2 years. Well, LaVine being 26 and Nikola being 30, so there is time still.
But this offseason is going to be big. They have 6 players who are not contracted for next year, so they have some money to play with. Preferably, they aim for a point guard.
The two we recommend is Dennis Schroeder, who is going to get a big payday after the Lakers, or even better, Lonzo Ball, who we truly believe fit in well with the Bulls.
They need a young player who plays good defense and a point guard who does not need to score to be effective. I'm literally describing Lonzo Ball.
Some other good free agents they can go for are Olynyk, PJ Tucker, Derrick Jones Jr., Trey Lyles, and Kelly Oubre Jr.
That's right, just a mix of some young players and some seasonal vets, and they're golden.
Overall, they need to round out the team with the short time they have left, and definitely aim for a playoff seat next year. So back to the question, was this trade a good trade? We came to the conclusion that it was a good trade.
We arrive at this outcome because the main thing this trade does is it creates options for the Bulls. With their old team, it kinda felt like they were just waiting for the right draft pick to partner up with LaVine.
But this trade makes it so they have a fighting chance on winning, and not relying on luck to save their franchise. If I was a Bulls fan right now, I'll be pretty content and happy.
Well, that's it for our Chicago Bulls trade update and analysis. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's hit 200 subs before summer.
Also, comment down below if you agree with our takes or something we missed. Let's try to get Kenny to watch this video. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it and we'll see you next time. That's it, bucko.